How's it going? It's Rajin Ramdeholl, and today with me, I got another good friend of mine. We did a ton of interviews together already, but definitely wanted to talk a little bit about the markets and what you're seeing. So, Avi, again, appreciate you being out here. Just introduce yourself, and then we'll get into talking a little bit about the markets.
How you guys doing? It's Avinash Dilchand, realtor, broker, investor.
My man does it all.
My boy Raj is a great guy. Did a handful of deals. Very easy to work with, very knowledgeable, and that's the thing in today's market. You need someone with knowledge.
Yes, and so in talking about that, one of the things I wanted to focus on and just get your intake about is, the state of the market, right? How do you think the mindset of buyers are right now? Especially, we saw a nice little break in interest rates in the last couple of days, right? But also the creativity with these 2-1 buy downs, and now that we're getting affordability back for more buyers, right? What do you feel?
I think right now is, so during the pandemic, we had, crazy over asking, waiving appraisals. Now we could do, like you said, 3-2-1 buy down, having a concession
yes.
on there where it's like, hey, if the property appraises for this much, they could pay the closing costs to the buyers. You could do the FHA, you could do 35% down. You have that flexibility.
Yes.
Now I see like where you get accepted offer. Before it was like the inspector has to come now or no deal. Yep. It's like now you see the inspectors are scheduling a week out, right? Yep. So it's like the urgency isn't there. And
I think you also kind of see that, and you tell me how you feel about it, but at least I see that a lot of the buyers are kind of now, the mindset and the news is settling, right? Like a lot of that, scare, doom and gloom, the headlines are kind of, moving out, and people are now settling to understand that, wait, I can still afford to buy, and it actually still is a good time to buy.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone, when you focus on the media with the negativity, and I'm glad you brought that up about, hey, they don't talk about the rates went down,
Exactly.
And with that happening for the past week, home prices actually went up to 5% the past 2 weeks just because the inventory shortage, right?
Yeah.
So listen, I don't want to talk about the negativity, but since we're there, you got the 3 Ds. Debt, diaper, and divorce, right? And well, Dilchand if you want to buy a house. But
so that's the fifth.
But so when is the right time to buy, Raj?
Yeah.
The right time to buy is when you're ready.
That's right. Absolutely.
You'll hear people say, "Oh, buy now, rates." It's based off your, your living, your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Do you just get married? You have a kid. Are your kids gone? You want to they're out of college and you want to double down.
Yeah.
So it comes down to what works best for you, right? Best for your living scenario.
And you're right about that because, as I said it, right, people put too much emphasis on, I want to score the best deal, right? I want to score the best interest rate. I want to score the best price on a house. And the reality is like, there's never ever going to be the best time to buy, to figure out the market, right? So like you just said, if there's a need, buy. You want to be an investor? There are deals out there. You want to be a homeowner? There are deals out there. It's still affordable and you should get into it.
Like you were saying before, people were worried about buying at the height of the market. But you said in the 80s, buying a $100,000 house.
Yes, exactly. So like we talked about, right? If you bought a house in the 80s for $100,000, you might have thought you bought it at the height of the market. That same property, if you bought it in the 90s for $250,000, you thought you bought it at the height of the market. The same one you bought in the, the 2000s for $450,000, you thought you bought in the height. So it's always a right time to buy, and you never have to think that you're buying at the wrong time or the height of the market.
Yeah, if you look at the data, like over the past 10 years of home prices, they've only been increasing, especially like if you pick a target area, New York City, Long Island, there's only X amount of land. They're not building more land, they're not developing a lot more properties. So it's pretty much you have your guys coming from the city going out east.
Yep.
And that's where you're going to see the price ranges are going to continue to increase because of that.
And I think the other part about it is too is that buyers need to be realistic, right? Not everything is instant gratification. Meaning, you can't have the mindset like I want to buy a property today and I want to have $100,000 equity in it, right? Like tomorrow. You got to think long term, right? Maybe over the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. As I said, if I were around then and I could have bought real estate back in the 80s and understand what I understand now, back then, I would have probably bought 10, 15, 20, 30 properties because now my understanding is, in retrospect, wow, real estate always appreciates.
And it's like, get it, everyone was getting the 2.5 to 3% rates or whatnot, but it's like, listen, we had a worldwide crisis, right? So it's like buying Apple back at like $50, right? Those times like, hey, it happened, we're past that, now back to reality.
Yeah.
And this is like, and I've been saying it, this is, when I started real estate, this is what a normal market was.
Yes.
You know, if you look at the history of interest rates over the past 10 years, 8% was considered normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Listen, when I got into the industry, you know, back in 2002, it was around between 7 and 9%. Right?
Yeah.
And there was adjustables at that, by the way.
Oh yeah.
So the truth is, right now, even being in the 6.5 range, it's still affordable. But then you tap in that 2-1 buy down. That's now there. You tap in the fact that, like you just said, sellers are selling for like softer prices. So there's definitely benefits that are out there. Now the other part I want to talk about, and I know we were going to get into this, for those people that are like, no, you know, I just want to wait. Okay, and then rates come back down, and what happens?
Guys who've been, you know, with the cash, and it's gonna go crazy back over asking, and it's gonna like, now your opportunity for that window, you lose that opportunity.
Right. So now you're gonna pay $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 above asking price, but okay, you got a 4% interest rate, but guess what? Ultimately, you're still paying more.
Exactly, and I'm glad you brought up about the seller side. So that's another thing in the market that a lot of people don't see or have contact. The sellers are kind of slowly now realizing, hey, it's not a market what it was, you know, a year ago. Like, we're not gonna list the property and it's gonna sell tomorrow, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta do the open houses, you gotta advertise, you gotta promote the property, you have to tell them, hey, you know, it's gonna stay, instead of taking 2 to 3 days, it may take 2 to 3 weeks to get an offer.
Right.
And it's, both sides have to put the work in.
That's right.
And that's what it's coming back down to.
So the reality is, folks, if you're thinking about buying and there's a need, it's a good time to buy, number one. If you're an investor, and you're looking to deploy your cash, right? Because it's sitting in the bank, it's still not doing anything. Obviously, we learned from inflation, you're losing money.
Yep.
So why are you sitting on it? And we can talk about the fact that, again, from an investor mindset, now is a really great time because rents are still appreciating and rents are increasing, right? So you can definitely positive cash flow on these properties.
Rents are insane more than mortgages right now. And like the rental market, especially now, it's like on the height where it's like, hey, the guys who couldn't get the mortgages or the properties and missed out, they gotta live somewhere, right?
They gotta rent.
So the rent's been up, and again, with inflation, you know, parking your cash into a hard asset is where you want it to be for funding, for long term, and most importantly, there's a lot of tax benefits and whatnot. But going back to what you're saying about the investment part of it, it's even buying a property yourself is still an investment, right? If you're even buying a single family, 2-family, where hey, down the road, like you said, when you accrue equity in the property, you can use that and continue to purchase more real estate.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best case scenario.
Absolutely. So folks, again, if you're looking at this, if you're a buyer still waiting, I hope you really got some great insights. Avi is, again, boots on the ground, not just realtor, investor. Again, he does it all. And not just that, he has a lot of insight into the market, a lot of knowledge. So if you're looking for a realtor and someone that's gonna be able to direct you in the right direction, all right, show you the backstory to it, the history to it, help you and guide you, you need to contact him because that's what he's gonna give you, that kind of expertise. And we talked about this, right? The cream always rises to the top, right?
The top 10% is doing 90% of the work.
That's right.
And
go ahead.
You'll see like the next 3 years, the best buying opportunities. When people are fearful to purchase, that's when you go and buy.
That's right.
That's when you get into the industry. That's when you get into the business. When others are fearful, that's where opportunities are.
There you go. So again, Avi, appreciate you coming out today.
This guy's the best right
sharing
here,
all
man.
this information. And if you're looking out there, please contact him. He's your guy.
Thank you, Roger. Appreciate it, brother.
I hope you like the content, and of course, make sure you hit the bell icon, and more importantly, hit the subscribe button so you can get all the latest content that we're putting out there and all the latest information. Trust me, this is going to help you out, so you want to make sure that you're all tuned in.